Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Golgothan, and welcome back to another episode of Kerbal Space Program Career Mode. As you can see, we are flying a space plane today. Sorry I didn't have a video for the past couple days, but I have just been really trying to get this thing to work. I have been putting countless hours into this plane, and I finally was able to get a test flight that was successful. Let's hope I can do that while recording this time. So as you can see, I've got a huge wingspan. I've got 6 of the swept wings along the side, each side, and 2 more swept wings up here, and then winglets there, and winglets for my tail fins there. Bunch of control surfaces along the back here to help with, well, control. There's an SAS module here. I've got RCS and a docking port because if I want to take this to any other bodies, I need extra fuel, I think. I've got a few RCS thrusters. So got one on that side too, and then I got these 2 on the back. And you can't really see the ones on the front, but they're like right here. They do work. They're kind of buried, but they do work. I tested it out and they do work okay. I didn't dock though. Yeah, so let's give this thing a test. Oh, is that more right there? Oh yeah, I got more thrusters right there. I should actually change these guys to these ones. That way I get more control overall. Oh, if you are designing a space plane, some key things. So let's turn these little things on. A space plane, you want your center of lift, which is the blue one here, to be slightly in front of your center of mass. That way, because it's a heavier plane, so you need that lift in front of the mass for a heavier plane. If this was a lighter plane that was just going to be staying, like a fast, light plane that was just going to be kind of flying around the planet, I'd want it more behind. Thrust just needs to be lined up with the mass, and probably the lift too, but everything kind of just needs to be lined up, and the lift needs to be slightly in front of the mass. That was one of the things that caused the most amount of trouble for me. Also, you see I have like a ton of these air intakes, and having them stacked like this does work. I know it seems like it wouldn't, but I'm pretty sure it does. And then I've got these big intakes back here. But if you look at my action groups here, I have all these intakes here, and these ones under the wings, under 2 to toggle them if I need to turn them off, which I will do when I get out of the atmosphere. And then I also have number 4, this one I just set, which is these intakes, which I will start with those off because they produce probably about 2.0 drag, which is quite a bit of drag. So this is my first time turning those off at the beginning. And I'm hoping it'll help get that initial speed up. And then once I start running out of air, I can turn these back on and get that flush of air going through them. And then as you see on the back here, I've got the big turbojet engines. Those are toggled on number 1. Because it's single stage, so I'm not going to be hitting the space bar at all. It's just going to be the numbers. So these are on number 1, so I'll start with these, turn these on when we get on the runway. And then once we get to the point where we don't have any air and we're about to burn out, because we don't want to burn out. Burning out will cause our entire plane to spin out of control, sparks flying, bad things. So once we get I think it's below 0.5, about 0.5 is when I will kill these engines and kick on the rocket engines. And then you can see my fuel tanks here. I've got these front 2 are just liquid fuel. They're the jet fuel. Then I got these 2 big guys of rocket fuel, and then these little guys here of rocket fuel as well. And I've got fuel lines going into these outside tanks. When we do come back in, if we bring this back into the atmosphere in this video, you'll see we'll have to actually transfer fuel from these outside tanks into these inside tanks to be able to use our jet engines. On my test flight, I was able to fly it up into orbit, back down, and land it on the runway. I felt like a boss. But in this one, we're just going to head it up and put it into orbit. And then maybe after that, we will in the next episode we will put it, take it to the moon or to Minmus, or maybe to a different planet if we can. I'm not sure the Delta V I've got on this thing. But I also have no science things on here, because those things weigh a lot. Alright, so first we will kick on our jet engines and throttle up. And hope we don't crash. Oh, forgot to close those intakes. Now they're closed, correct? Yes. And lift. We want to go straight to about 60 degrees, a near vertical lift. And we want to get up to about 10,000 as fast as possible. Oh no, what happened here with why? Hold on. Whoa. Why is Bobwell in the cockpit? Bobwell, you get out of that cockpit. And Blackhawk HD is a viewer that has been asking me to do spaceplanes for a while, and there he is now. Blackhawk HD, the spaceplane pilot. Alright. Now that should be right, let's make sure down here that we got Blackhawk HD flying this beast. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we got him. And jet engines, throttle. Intakes closed. And up. Alright. Looks like we're a little crooked. A lot of people will use MechJeb for their spaceplane flights because it's a lot more reliant on angles and making sure everything's perfect. But I don't use mods. In fact, I think my game won't accept mods. One of the other things I was working on in these days that I wasn't posting videos was trying to get my sandbox mods save file working, and I was trying different mods, and it looks like I just can't get any mods to work. It's kind of frustrating. So I may do a fresh install of Kerbal Space Program. Obviously, I'll keep this save file in a safe spot and do a fresh install and try that again, but I don't know. I've just been having a lot of difficulties with it. Eventually, I just need to like format my hard drive and reinstall Windows and just start clean, and I think that'll help. Oh yeah, let's get up there. Also, I think it'll help with our some FPS issues I was having in Guacamelee. I'm not sure if you noticed, but there was slight frame rate droppage in that video. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that my computer's so full of nonsense. I mean, I've had this same nonsense, like my desktop, for like 5 years now, and so there's a lot of random stuff just on it. Some games that I played and programs I used for like one day and then just never used again and forgot to uninstall, and just be easier just to do a clean install and save all my save stuff and start fresh. Alright, we're halfway there. Ooh, you can get vertigo this way. Of course, if you don't know yet, most people do, there is no internal cockpit view for this sweet cockpit, as awesome as it would be to be able to look out this glass cockpit, but you can't. Oh, We're creeping up there. Once we hit that 10,000 mark, we're going to level out to about 20 degrees and try to pick up as much horizontal velocity as possible. It's the key to spaceplanes, is horizontal velocity. Of course, we're going east, so that we are moving in the opposite rotation of Kerbin, which is another important thing. Oh, you know what? We've never been over to this airstrip over here. We won't in this video, but maybe when we come back, we'll take a detour and land over there. Alright, we're almost up to our point. And we'll start pitching down. Gently, gently. 20 degrees. Give her a little spin, because we're a little off. There. Alright. Now we'll just continue on this path for a while until we, of course, need to open up our next intakes, which isn't for a while yet. But I have noticed a significant increase in acceleration with having these closed. Opening them up, like I said, it has like a 0.2 drag, or like 2.0 drag, while having them closed is 0.2 drag. We are getting a lot of drag from these ones on the outside here, but that's just going to happen. So since we're flying a space plane, I can kind of bring this up. There is a company called, what's it called? Sierra Nevada Corporation have announced that there's this space shuttle that they are working on, that they have built and are hoping to fly in just a couple years, called the Dream Chaser. It is about, what did they say, like a tenth the size of the space shuttle. It looks like a mini version of the space shuttle, and it's about the size of 2 SUVs. And it is supposed to be the future crew transport for NASA astronauts and the International Space Station. So we don't have to hitch a ride with the Russians anymore. I think that's pretty cool. They did like a test. They did a test flight where they hung it from a helicopter and let it glide down on autopilot, but it crash landed. So that's not a good sign. But obviously, I would assume that they would have fixed that before they move on to another flight. But they're hoping to have it make its first orbital flight in November of 2016. So that's actually not that far away. That's 2.5 years away. And it's a great thing for the U.S. to have in their space arsenal, is a little shuttle, a little what do they call it? Like a little crew transport to the space station. Oh, it's only 7 meters long and can carry 7 astronauts and their equipment. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, and there's going to be an uncrewed flight in 2016. That's the November one. Into orbit for the test flight. Alright, we are going to open up our other intakes. Boom. That gave us more air. We're going to keep our jet engines working for longer. We can pitch down. I'm going to pitch us down to about there. We want to try to keep our altimeter, not our, what is this? What do you call this thing here? Anyway, it measures how fast our vertical speed, and I want to try to keep that below 100 for sure. Oh goodness, I'm gonna level us out a lot here. And throttle us down, throttle us down. Throttle down. Okay. We want to keep using the jet engines as long as we can, even if it means throttling down. As long as we're accelerating, that's the important thing. Alright, now I'm going to kick on the other engines here. And we're going to go up. Now our goal is to get out of the atmosphere. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. That's not good. Come on, balance out here. Maybe if I turn the RCS on, it'll help. Am I good? We're balanced here. Just because I went too much power too quickly while I was adjusting angles. I should have adjusted angles and then initiated engines. Now we are just in a horrible wobble. Come on. Why are you having such issues? Why are you wobbling so much? Stop it! Oh, this is frustrating. This did not have. Alright, we are going to have to start this launch over. That sucked. That sucked a lot. Alright, jet engines. Take off. Alright, Blackhawk HD. Don't fail me this time. Lift. Alright, come on. Now we just got to get us all the way up in the atmosphere, all the way up to our 10K. Space planes are hard, man. They're not an easy thing. I mean, this one may be a little bigger than I needed it to be. I did have a design that was smaller than this. That maybe could have done it, but I feel like once I have the Rapier engines, a smaller craft will be easier because then I don't need to have... The Rapier engines, if you don't know, I don't remember what it stands for, but it basically will adjust from using being fueled by air and being a rocket. So it's both a rocket engine and a jet engine at the same time, which is amazing. So I don't need to have rocket engines on it because they are rocket engines. Sadly, I do not have those yet. Theoretically, after a little more science, well, not theoretically, actually, after a little more science, not much more, but a little more science, I will be able to get the Rapier engines. I almost did more science just to try to get them. I was hoping when I did my test flight, I recovered the vessel, hoping I would get at least like 100 science for taking a space plane into orbit instead of like a rocket. But nope, because I've already been to orbit, they're like, yeah, we don't care. So that sucked. Come on, get me up there. So, what else do we got to talk about here? We can talk about the Jade rover, the China's Jade rover on the moon, may be damaged soon by moon dust. Dust on the moon is a huge problem because there's low gravity and no atmosphere. Means there's not really much wind or anything like that. And there is very little atmosphere, so there is slight breezes now and then, but the surface is covered in just dust, just powdery dirt, basically, that gets in everything. It gets in all the equipment. It just, yeah, you feel like you'll never be able to get anything clean after taking something to the moon, they say, because it's just constantly covered in moon dust. So it's possible that, let's look here, that the abrasive lunar dust may be causing malfunctions. There was a mechanical fault in these systems that could leave the rover fatally exposed to the cold and the dark and bitter cold. Oh, here we go. And pitch down. I'm gonna go to 15 this time instead of 20. I'm gonna open our other intakes. No, I'm gonna keep them closed because it should reduce our drag. Should keep our drag down. And I want to get this velocity up as high as possible while in as much atmosphere as I can. Yeah, I should have done 15 sooner. See, we're staying right about at that 10, which means we're not climbing very fast, but we're gaining speed really fast. Which is, again, the most important part of space planes is that horizontal speed. The faster the horizontal speed, the more air going into the intakes, the longer you can use the jet engines. Okay, so reading more on the lunar dust, moon soil gets ground up by micrometeoroid impacts into glassy dust that can become charged as it is bombarded with solar particles. According to this, during the Apollo program, the sharp-edged dust grains wore through astronaut spacesuits, scratched up mirrors used for laser ranging experiments, and caused moon buggies to overheat. So rovers are susceptible to these things because it's all mechanical. It's all based on very fine equipment, very fragile equipment, I would assume. And so the Jade rover had these certain procedurals that they did before going into night, because the cold nights on the moon are apparently ridiculously cold. So they had. One night the mechanics of these systems failed, and it wouldn't. The stuff didn't deploy. The proper shieldings and the critical moving parts and whatnot. And when the temperature got down there, there was a fault basically. And let me pitch us down quick here. We are lifting too much. More. There we go. Alright. So it's possible that the Jade rover could have permanent damage from this moon dust, which would suck for all science, basically. But it also gives us a lot of information for this next story. NASA is talking about possibly, they're announcing its Lunar Cargo Transport and Landing by Soft Touchdown program, the Catalyst program, which they are trying. They're basically entering the Google Lunar X Prize, which is offering $20 million to the first group to put a lander on the moon and move it 500 meters and beam pictures back to Earth, which is, again, a great idea to get scientists that normally wouldn't be involved in this stuff involved. giving hope to private companies that want to get into space travel and, you know, don't really have a lot to work with. Now they've got this prize money to look forward to, $20 million. Granted, it's not even gonna like touch the cost of a rocket, but hey, it'll help anything. But this Catalyst program is actually they are hoping to be able to deliver two different kinds of like landers, one that can deliver a payload between 30 and 100 kilograms, and one that can deliver a payload of 250 to 500 kilograms. So that's a lot. That's a lot of payload. So a lot of mining companies are actually looking into this as a viable way to begin moon mining, lunar mining. Is NASA, once they can get this stuff going, they can maybe start sending materials up there and like equipment. Let's see. I think it's time to open these other intakes. Okay. We got a little more intake air coming. We're almost halfway out of the atmosphere, so we're not dealing with a lot of air to begin with. Put this down even more. Oh, we're going to start getting some effects here. Some entry effects. We're moving so fast, we're getting entry effects. See them kind of flashing on there. That's a good thing. We're starting to go. Supersonic isn't quite the word. We're seriously experiencing atmospheric drag now. Okay. But we still have plenty of intake coming in. Plenty of air coming in. So not have to worry about that yet. Let's take a look at this. Okay. See, our apoapsis isn't going to go up much because we're not at an upward angle. But as you can see how long this is, you know, on a rocket it would be more of a, like, up like that. Where this is long. That's what the space planes do. They give us this start to an orbit already. Like, it makes you think that basically if I kept doing this, I could get an orbit at 24,000 meters. At like 25 kilometers, I could theoretically have an orbit if I was able to keep going like this, basically. But we'll get pretty far. I actually have to pitch us down more. But we are still getting air. That's the important thing. We are still collecting air, and we got a heck of a surface speed, what's our orbital speed, which is amazing because those speeds are key. I think this is actually the most speed I've ever built up in a spaceplane flight. Look at these entry effects we're getting now. We are halfway through the atmosphere. We're almost ready to kick on the rocket engines. And now I also remember what I did differently in the last time is I did both engines for a little while. Start throttling down a little bit here. Go down to about a third of the way down. See, the less power we have, we're using in our... we're slowing down. Slowing down is not good. We need to be constantly accelerating. Well, we have passed that halfway point now. If we needed to, we absolutely could fly this thing back to the Space Center if we needed to. Look at that, we haven't even finished up the jet fuel in the front here. Once these rockets kick on, you better believe this fuel is going to go like no other. Can I throttle back anymore without losing acceleration? I can. Still accelerating ever so slightly. Oh, now we are decelerating. So I'm going to kick us all the way down to about here and kick on these engines. It's gonna get our speed higher, and we are going to get more intake air. So I'll keep doing that for a little bit until we cannot use our jet engines anymore, and then I will point us up. Once this hits 0.6, I will point us upwards. How's this going? Still going pretty good. Now I have to be mindful of our fuel, because now our fuel will start going. As rockets are way less efficient. Alright, Blackhawk HD? Right. Alright, 0.7. Come on. 0.6, there we go. Alright. Killing those. Closing intakes. And gently pitching us up. Everything seems off balance. SAS does not seem to be helping very much, so I'm going to basically be in control of this flight the rest of the time. I'm just going to do the 45-degree inclination. Throttle up. I'm being gentle with the throttle because I don't want to... Alright, doing it from here now. Throttle us up a little bit more. I don't want to lose control on this flight. This is our last attempt to get into orbit. Now we just got to push this thing up out of the atmosphere. Done this a few times. Alright, get it up as fast as possible. Come on, you can hit that magic 70. We'll go 80. Staying stable right now. Okay. Alright. Alright. Awesome. We are making our way into orbit. As we drift now. Let's get out of the atmosphere, please. $78, $69, yeah, okay, we are out of the atmosphere. Now we just got time warp. Now it's just circularize. So we did it! We took a space plane, we put it into orbit. Well, I guess we're not technically there yet. Make sure we get the circularization right. And a little bit more. Well, let's get a little bit closer. Almost 81. Good enough for me. We are in orbit. Let's do a nice little spin while we're up here. Woo-wee. Oh, hey, I had my landing gear out that whole time. That probably didn't help at all. Yeah, Blackhawk HD. Thank you for giving me the idea and putting me through all the troubles of getting this beast into orbit. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was definitely a challenge, and challenges are fun. If you aren't challenging yourself, then you're not doing it right. If you enjoyed this video, please click like down below. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to see other videos like it. Thank you for watching. I am Golgothan, and I will see you next time.